Pursued into the nearby hills, Cortes was surrounded and hugely outnumbered. His men wearied to the point of collapse. They were on the verge of absolute defeat when Cortes charged through the enemy lines on horseback and personally killed an Aztec chieftain in front of his warriors. The slaying so demoralized the Aztecs that they withdrew, allowing Cortes to escape. The Spaniards went back to Tlaxcala to heal their wounds. The following spring, Cortes launched another onslaught against Tenochtitlan. It was a city far weaker than it had been when the Spaniards arrived 18 months before. Smallpox, a European disease to which the Aztecs had no resistance, had devastated the population.
A great plague broke out in Tenochtitlan, striking everywhere in the city. The illness was so dreadful that no one could walk or move. A great many died from this plague, and many others died of hunger. The Codex Florentino.
Moctezuma's successor was among the dead. He was then succeeded by Moctezuma's nephew, Cuauhtémoc. Prophetically, his name meant falling eagle. While the warriors of Tenochtitlan were far weaker than before, Cortes was far stronger. Capitalizing on the hatred neighboring tribes had for the Aztecs, Cortes raised an army of nearly 100,000, all of them eager to attack the Aztec capital. There would be no repeat of La Noche Triste. The fighting raged for weeks as the Aztecs fought desperately. It was house by house and street by street, brutal and grisly. As the battle raged, the Aztecs sacrificed 66 captured Spaniards atop the Great Pyramid, plucking out their hearts in plain sight of their comrades below.
It was terrifying when we looked up at the top of the tall temple. They sacrificed all our men, eating their arms and legs and offering their hearts and blood to their idols. Bernal Diaz.
The battle raged on, but the Aztecs were outmatched by the weapons and tactics of the conquistadors.
When the Europeans came over and fought the Aztecs, not only did they have the great military advantage of having swords and cannons and gunpowder, but they think of the psychological aspect of it, that here they were on horses, and a soldier on a horse could just trample over 4 or 5 or 10 Aztecs that were on foot. So it was really a real David and Goliath situation when the Europeans met the Aztec warriors.
The Spaniards were too powerful. They had advanced technology, they had horses. They were not going to be denied this prize.
In the end, the magnificent city of Tenochtitlan fell into rubble before the sword and cannon of the conquistadors. Cuauhtémoc was captured and brought before Cortes. The last king of the Aztecs was proud and defiant to the end.
Said Cuauhtémoc, "I have assuredly done my duty in defense of my city and my vassals, and can do no more. Take the dagger that you have in your belt and strike me dead immediately." Bernal Diaz.
Cuauhtémoc would die after 4 years in captivity, finally hanged by Cortes for rebellion. The Aztec Empire and city of Tenochtitlan died with him. The Spanish conquest was complete.
There's a real ambivalence about the conquest, about the Spaniards. On the one hand, it's a way of looking to Europe, and it's a connection to Europe, and it's a way of, the way we do on this continent, we tend to legitimize ourselves by looking to Europe, especially Western Europe. On the other hand, they are, they are the imperialists. They came and raped and pillaged and took over the country and killed many Mexicans in the process, Mexican Indians in the process. So there's a big division there.
From the ruins of the Aztec Empire would emerge a new and often troubled civilization. With the fall of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec kingdom became the Spanish colony of New Spain. Tribute continued to flow to the city on the lake, but now the gold went to the Spanish, not the Aztecs. On the rubble that had been Tenochtitlan, a new city, Mexico City, was built.
Social historians like to focus on the fact that Cortes and his allies and his followers destroyed Tenochtitlan. But what they conveniently overlook is that out of the rubble, Hernán Cortés then created Mexico City and inspired the construction of impressive buildings. Mexico City then grew and became the political center, the religious center, the cultural center of New Spain.
Catholic missionaries flocked to Mexico, converting the Indians to Christianity. Others came seeking wealth and founded elaborate haciendas, living as feudal lords off the labor of Indian peasants. Cortes himself built an elaborate palace, a castle at Cuernavaca, outside Mexico City.
Now, he always was loyal to the crown. In fact, when he went back to confirm his titles, he had received the title of the Marquess of the Valley of Oaxaca. He had been given many towns in encomienda, and he went back to get these confirmed, and the king gave him every kind of attention in attending to Cortes when he was ill, inviting him to sit in the royal pew in the cathedral in Salamanca, and yet he never made him a governor. And that's what Cortes wanted. He made him a captain general, which was a very prestigious title in those days, but he never made him governor. And Cortes, in a very dramatic moment then, as the king was leaving Salamanca, he jumped out there and stopped the royal carriage and said to the king, "I am the man who gave to you more towns, more kingdoms than your father left you towns."
Cortes wasn't the only one broken by the conquest. The Indian nations were shattered, a civilization destroyed, millions dead from war and disease. By 1640, a mere million survived out of a pre-conquest population of 20 to 30 million. The Spanish crown held ultimate authority throughout the land, and centuries would pass before the people of Mexico would reclaim their freedom.